shows herself. So thanks to Erik. It looks like he got it going. And I'm going to introduce our first speakers. The first show is the T-Rump, that's Trump puppet. So June Sakaguchi recently guest hosted a tripod talk called Transplants. That was about artists moving from other cities to Tacoma to live and work. And by doing so, they have strengthened the Tacoma artist community. At a gathering after the tripod talk, several artists shared an interest in doing something for No King's Day. I think that was June 14th. And the giant T-Rump puppet was born. So June will be presenting along with Hugo Morrow, who was one of the people on the team, an important person. I think he designed the face. Is that right? And he's a recent arrival to the region. In the last 10 years, he has created gallery and public and solo installations. He looks forward to other collaborative projects with the talented and hardworking artists he's met in Tacoma. So you guys want to come up?
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Lynn does an amazing job with tripod because there's so many overlaps. So Hugo did a tripod talk with Christy Maxim, who was part of our group. So there's that intersection, but, Becky and Greg have done it. So it's a great community thing. I have done it. So thank you for that, first of all. And so like Lynn said, so I did the talk like in May. And so that was like 2 weeks before the No King's Day. And so, I like to have parties, Richard and I. So we had an after party after the transplant talk. And we're just all talking. And should we skip on? Or?
Well, no, until
okay.
we get to the part
Okay,
where,
okay. Yeah. So we had a big party, and we just started talking. I don't know if you were there.
No, I wasn't.
Okay,
I wasn't
not
there.
that particular one, all the other ones.
No.
But Christy and Eileen Eileen Faulkner. I'm leaving out one last name. Anyway, they started talking, and it's like, I make a giant puppet. Oh, I make a giant puppet. And so there's this conversation going, and then we're all artists. So it's like, what? This is No King's Day in 2 weeks. And so it's like we all kind of got together talking about, like, we want to make something for No King's Day. So that was like it was less than 2 weeks that we actually...
Way less.
Yeah, made the actual puppet.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go into the slides, and Hugo's going to help me go through the slides with you, and then we're going to, bring up the group so you can ask questions, because you all need to know everybody in this group. Yep. So first thing I want to say, though, this is really a story. It's a love story. So born out of, this disgust and anger and, unbelievability about the current administration. And so it brought us together, and we built this beautiful community that's still building, and it's truly a love story, in my opinion. Okay.
Well,
here, do you want this?
June, no, I'm good. No, it's just
Okay,
quickly.
you gotta,
June moved to Tacoma. June moved to Tacoma a few years before Connor and I moved to Tacoma. And the reason why I moved to Tacoma was because I heard June had moved to Tacoma. So I said, so Tacoma's got something going. So, so that's what she does. She brings people together. And so what happened with this was Eileen had done this, and Christy had done the on the right, the Mexican Day of the Dead dolls. So they came together through June and had the conversation, started the conversation. I wasn't at the, I knew Christy, I knew June, of course, but I wasn't at the party, so I get a call from June, like 8 days before the parade. He goes, hey, we're doing this thing, and I'm game for anything. So we met like the day after, and we started on this thing, and everybody just kind of jumped in and chose whatever they felt comfortable with and started going. That we just moved forward, and naturally, or I don't know what the word is, we just kind of helped each other. We just jumped into each other's. It was the most organic thing that I've ever experienced among, how many of us were there? Eight of us, 7 or 8 of us. It was like so fluid. And you'll see some part of the process, and you'll see the finished product.
Okay, and so we'll go back and forth. If I forget something, you say. Okay.
I'll-
And then Becky or anybody else, you just tell us. So this is Eileen Faulkner, sorry. Okay, so Eileen, she moved up from California, so she's a transplant, and she does mosaic work and stuff. But she has done these puppets, the one you saw, the Auntie Samantha, and on the left is, on the left is the drawing that she just sketched up about, this idea. And so nothing was set, but it was just a fluid kind of, we kind of stuck with what her idea was because it was good. So then, so Christy this is Christy Maxim, and she's done these kind of more sculptural three-dimensional puppets, so they knew how to do it. So the nuts and bolts of making a puppet, we knew we could do this because they knew how to do it. So it starts with this backpack frame, and then this is Leanne, you're gonna have to, Campos. And she was right in there doing everything, and she's a sewer, so she was one of the sewers of the group, as is Becky Fraze. So they knew how to do the structure. There's Eileen and Leanne also. Oops, sorry. So building the framework, and then here trying on the framework. So there's a lot of like unknowns, but we just had to try it and keep going. Mm-hmm. So we were using, thank you, 350 Tacoma in Rick and Jory's space. Thank you so much. They let us use the space and without having to pay anything, so it was wonderful. So big thanks to them. And continuing on with, do we need to add a hoop or, all the structural stuff? Add anything you want, Hugo.
Yeah, I'm good,
okay.
I'm good.
So what is this? Here.
This is the, we use that to do the framework to hold up the clothing. So this went directly onto the PVC frame, and we made arms and the torso out of that. And then here we are beginning to tear up paper for the paper mache parts. And that's what.
Yeah, and here today is Erik on the right, and then Mizu is here, so you'll meet them after this talk. So this was a fun part. Okay. There.
That's the beginning of the head. That's the beginning of the head. That was, I think I started that in Caitlin's house, and then we just started from there.
Okay, he's being very humble. Hugo, you could see his brain click, like it's like a head, Trump, the mouth, the fingers. So he just went with it. And it's like all of us were stepping back like, oh my God, he's got something going on. Maybe the next picture will. Then a big thanks to Steve Way. He is a big activist. He's with 350 Tacoma and does things with Undivisible, and he does the protest freeway banner signs, and he goes to Vashon to do the banners with Backbone Campaign. So he has been a huge supporter and opened the space for us.
I think the guy's like a guru, because I think that he kept such a mellow space, sitting there, being quiet, watching us. I think he just organically transferred that to us.
Yeah. He lives on a boat in Commencement Bay. So there's Mizu on the left, and there's Hugo. So I had a show in Seattle, and I used these foam pieces for this thing I made. The purple stuff. It's okay there. This, and there are these little question mark looking shapes. And Hugo saw them and thought, fingers, hands. And so he just went right over there and started carving them. And so wait till you see what they look like later. There he is. Do you see the brain cells clicking? It's like click, 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 click. It was beautiful to watch. He's too humble, so I have to highlight him. Oh, there you go. See, you can see the hand a little bit more. So that's the main puppet makers, Eileen and Christy. And then the money bags. So I think Leanne did the stenciling on that and sewed them. So people were like taking things home, like doing homework, and then come back the next day. It's like, wow, this is done. Okay. And then that's Eileen sewing. So go to Goodwill if you need a big bolt of fabric for $9, because that's how we got all that suit fabric. And then draping. So it looks like a judge's robe or something at this point, but that transformation was amazing.
Yep.
Okay. This doesn't, so things had to line up. These people were so detail-oriented. I was shocked. In my practice, it's like, oh, do this, just do it to get it done. But they were very detail-oriented. So that was my, there. See, she had to line it up.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us really like knows how to do pattern making or tailoring. And tailoring or pattern making. In the meantime, we had to like come up with a jacket for a giant, and it worked out. You'll see that the finished product is pretty impressive, if I may say so myself.
Okay, some seam work. And that's Leanne. She was like what do you call it? Just so right
Jack
there.
of all trades.
Yes, yeah, she did everything. And was just so delighted about the whole process. Mm-hmm. There she is. And then she did the con letters in the back, which is very important to our message. So you can see the cuffs now. It's really coming together. And then you can see Hugo's hand. Whoops, sorry. Well, the hands. I just wanted to point that out. And the paper mache. What's that face?
I had never worked with wheat paste, and it feels really good.
Yeah, it's magic. It's cornstarch, and you add hot water.
Cornstarch.
And then it turns into magic.
Yeah.
So try it. But you can see the beginning of that mouth, that awful mouth. Oh, and we're so happy about what we're making. So there's that cornstarch. And lots of shredded paper. There's the very important.
Good stuff.
There we go. You can start. Do you want to?
Well, we were debating what to do with his hair, because it's such an important thing for us now. And at one point I was thinking of making a wig, so that thing in front was supposed to be the wig cap, but then we changed our mind and decided that's giving him too much attention, so we just put up the hair that you see there, the flip.
It almost looks like that. Looks like the bullet riddled ear, and the bandage on it.
It's the right ear too. I mean, it's the right, the left, whatever.
Okay. So it's drawing. But that's what you want to do to his head, right? You want to get a chair leg and stick it in his head. So, whoops. Oh, and then...
Oh, we needed something more detailed than the paper mache that we could quickly make the eyes and details on his face with. So I had this in the studio and found it. I don't know why I bought it for, but it ended up finding its use.
I have to say, when he put it on, it was like all clumpy and everything. It's like, what? I don't know if this works. But he's inspired, and there it is. It's kind of clumpy. It's like, is this going to work? But it really worked. It was so cool to watch this. There. How about the eyebrows?
Yeah, we had this cool kind of twine, paper twine, and we tried to find some places to use it in, and we found a couple of spots. I hate them.
Poor Hugo had to look at this face for a long time, but here he is working away. And you can see that clumpy eye stuff, but when the paint went on, boy, it added all of his, wrinkles and stuff. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, those eyes are the evil eyes that that man has were embedded in my brain because I didn't need reference to capture that.
Gosh. I don't think Cameron has seen these in-between shots like... So the other thing, brilliant engineering that Hugo did is you have to attach the head to the body. So he engineered this amazing kind of like collar with buckles because we have to be able to take the head on and off in order to transport it, but also to store it. So Hugo figured out this he's brilliant engineering.
Thank you.
So they're the two main puppet makers, and so there's this mesh had to line up so that the person wearing it could see out, and Eileen made the buttons. I mean, there's so much detail to everything.
I mean, I think that seeing it now, you realize with the distance, you realize just how much detail we put into that. I mean, look at the French stitching on that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so it's coming together more. The tie is wind blown off askew to the side because the puppeteer had to see out, and then Christy found the pants with the suspenders. So it's all coming together.
Yep.
Yeah, Hugo's hands are beautiful, greedily clutching the money bags.
Eileen's bags.
Oh, and then the big contribution from Erica's shirk. This kind of brought it all together, the belt buckle. Says it all.
What do we end up calling, what's the name of this? Mudflap girl. Yeah.
See, that's the attention to detail. And then this represents, Kristen Tollefson. So she's another artist in our group, and she couldn't be in person to any of the stuff. But we were, talking to each other online, and so she designed the money, because there was a whole, what do you call it, the issue of copyright issue and royalty, all that kind of stuff. So she designed this Trump buck instead of, it's MAGA bucks, instead of using the real monopoly representation. And there's the Bitcoin. So this just shows that people could contribute without actually being there. And then, my contribution, the dunce cap. My big contribution. There it is, Christy. And I had the first puppeteer, young guy in his 30s, he says, it's like, what is a dunce? What's dunce? And this is the trial run in 350 Tacoma. Do we have a video, maybe? At the end? Okay, we'll have a video at the end. You can see the actual movement. What is that? Drag and drop? What does that mean?
I don't know. Is that you? I don't
Oh, that's them. I think that's... Okay, so then transporting. So there's a lot of issues. Big things are hard to transport and store, so we had to, figure out a lot of things.
Eileen's not here?
No. Eileen is not here. So the first place we went, so this is No King's Day. We're finally here. And there's supposed to be 3 things going on. And there was supposed to be a women's march thing at the Chinese Reconciliation Park. And we showed up ready to go, and other people were showing up, but there was no real organized thing. But we considered that our trial run. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, and then I think we moved to the People's Park. That was the main thing that day on MLK. So now you can see the 2 puppets. So Eileen already had this one, and we redid the sign, Uphold Democracy. And then there's the darn Trump.
So huge.
So mind all the details, please. So there's the wonderful mud flap, the money, oh my gosh, the face, the lips.
The part that, one part of this adventure was that we had to find guys to be puppet masters. We started out with Caitlin's neighbor,
Yes.
but then we didn't have anyone for People's Park, I don't think, lined up. So we kind of had to hustle and find somebody, and this guy was available.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to volunteer to be a puppeteer, let us know, because we need puppeteers. And I'll tell you what, once you're in that suit, these guys, they were getting into it, swinging the money bags. You get so much attention. So can you see the scale? So the person down here, so yeah, this is huge. How many feet would you say?
I think about 15, 20 feet.
Because someone was saying they thought we would bring the puppet, march it down, parade it down the aisle, but it's too big. It would get his head chopped off with a fan there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, more. That's Richard. This is at, the last one is at Point Defiance, and that was more like a car moving thing and parading on the streets. So every one of them were different. So it's interesting. But I'll tell you, yeah, all of us here, just that feeling of like we are actually, we're making something, we're saying something, we're standing up, we're coming together, and then putting it out into the public and everybody else feeling that same thing. Like we were, you were out there too, I know. It's such a good feeling of communion and trying to fight what's wrong here. So that's why I say it's a love story, because we all came together. I love you. and and then out of all of that we're living through right now, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's unbelievable. Every single day is it more unbelievable than the next. So you all know that.
Yep.
So maybe that's the last one, Erik? The video, Erik? Oh, okay.
Turn around.
That's Hugo inside.
Thank you.
Hello.
The party hat. Can I put?
It was really amazing because you have like 10 pounds of weight up here moving you, I don't know what you call it, but the inertia or, of moving in one direction, and the weight pulls you even further.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Yeah, so I think that's it for our slideshow, but if our other people can come up and we'll... Can I just introduce, so Becky Fraze was a big part of this, Erica Shirk, the mud flap queen, Mizu Sugimura. So, and there are more of us. So Eileen, I mentioned, Christy, they're the main puppet makers, and Leanne is not here.
Leanne's not here. She did so much.
Yes, so much. So,
Every day showed up ready to sew or pin or do a lot of things by hand. And the lettering. I think you made the stencil and then she painted it. just amazing, amazing. Yeah, and
He is now being kept in my attic, in our attic, in the dark. Decapitated in the heat, in the dark. It's very satisfying going up to the attic.
Of course, we've seen it on Facebook and Instagram, and I wondered if you'd had any feedback, any of you from the East Coast or other parts of the country, who have people seen it or?
Good question.
No, I mean, we haven't organized any kind of promotion. We posted it here and there, but I haven't gotten any direct response. No.
one thing we did notice was that the next day there was a photo of Uphold Democracy, Aunt Samantha,
Okay.
but no picture of Trump in the News Tribune. So I think people are sort of afraid, you know, hesitant, whatever.
Another thing that happened was Eileen got invited to a 4th of July event, but they specified that they weren't interested in Trump because it was too controversial. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I'm not sure if anybody already mentioned this, but how much did that weigh? I mean, like, how heavy was it to haul?
It was very
carry?
light. I mean, it was maybe 30 pounds. It was the guess of a young man in good shape. And so to me, I don't really know what the weight was. But he said he guessed about around 30 pounds, which is amazing because when we started, we were thinking it was going to be like 50 or 60 pounds.
Yeah, every decision made was how much is this going to weigh? We got to cut it down. So yeah. Yeah, Christy was very cognizant of that.
One of the things that I noticed just when we took the puppet out, that the response of the public was just so warm. There were a couple of times that it was difficult for the people who were responsible to make Trump move, because people kept on coming up and wanting to have selfies with it. Yeah. He was the most popular figure there.
Who saw it in real life? Oh, yay! Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're not going away. John.
I was just going to say that I posted live streaming
yes.
at People's Park and on social media, and I got a lot of I don't know, like 100 likes or something.
good.
You know, people
Good.
were thrilled. Even one person I know who was a Republican friend of mine from high school laughed at it.
Okay. Well, we aren't going away. We're a solid group. I feel like we're, it's a good group.
We'll be at the next rally.
Yeah, we'll be at the next rally. Christy has an offer to do a Day of the Dead thing, so we want to work on that. And then Erica, we were talking about these are like social protest, safety protest things. So we're going to paint on the road to get people to slow down their cars on our streets. So this is just starting. Yeah, we're starting all this action. So.
Thank you. So our next speaker is Mary Owen, and she's, she and I have been friends for 50 years, cementing our relationship within the organization Friends of the Rag, in case you ever heard of that, one of the first wearable art groups centered in Seattle at that time in the 70s. In between then and now, she became an engineer, first interning at Disney for 6 months, then working on big Kenworth and pack car semis. After retiring from an engineering career, she got into music, learning to play alto sax. She lives in Olympia, where she's in 2 swing bands and also a honk band. Mary?
Thanks, Lynn. Can you hear me? Okay. My presentation is about an event that happens in Olympia about third weekend of every April. It's called Procession of the Species. I'll give you a little rundown, little quick history, and then there's a video we can start with. Procession of the Species was the brainchild of Eli Sterling down in Olympia. 2003 was the first time that they did the procession. And the idea of the procession was it was a people's parade, so there aren't any floats from other towns, there aren't any people waving from cars, there aren't any horse platoons, there's nothing like that, like your normal parades. No marching, people in boots and all of that, nothing like that. This was a parade that was started by the people. It's all about the people. They bring their own stuff. They make their own stuff, they wear their own stuff, they get their neighbors involved, and everybody joins in. That's the idea of the parade. We will start with this video, this little video. It kind of sets it up, shows you how this very grassroots organization kind of sets things up for the community to be able to do this parade. So, Erik, if you can run that.
All animals must go.
The old place on Water Street, we had some water damage there. We still have that as storage and are still using that, but it didn't seem prudent to open it to the public. We started to look at various options and found this place, and we're able to move in today and get set up, and we're ready for people to come in this afternoon. It's a nice open space with good high ceilings and a very tall door. So we'll be able to assemble pieces as we desire and just roll them out the door on the day of and be ready to go.
Where's the lion going? Back there?
Keep it by the front window.
It originally was a pink moldy dinosaur from the Tacoma Children's Museum. And then it became a panther. Then it became a tiger. And then it became a lioness. And then it became the lion.
Well, this is awesome, you guys. So cool. All right, so we will see you tomorrow.
So that's some of the people who are behind the scenes to set up the warehouse. And that particular space that we were moving in was about 2 or 3 spaces ago. We have to move about every 2 or 3 years because not everybody has that much generosity to let, a great big warehouse be filled up with papier-mâché puppets all year. So because they're you saw them, there are a number of large puppets. So the idea behind the procession of the species is it's a procession of the species. So we're divided into earth, wind, fire, and water. So we start with earth. Oh, I have the clicker, don't I? Okay. Here we go. So you can see that this is the middle of the parade, and it's kind of a parade, and it's kind of a block party, and it's kind of a regular party. And in the middle of it, things happen like this, and So it's kind of starts and stops and goes down around Olympia downtown. There's a fire. There's some water. And when I go through these slides, keep in mind all of these were originated by people showing up. They open up this warehouse and they have big tables, very similar to making the space that you had for making the Trump puppet. But probably 3 or 4 times the size of this space, full of tables, and they bring all the parts and the pieces, the glue guns, all of the leftover stuff from the year before. All the paper mache puppets are kept over in those spots. So people just show up and they sign in and they find a spot and they get an idea and they're with their neighbor or with their class or with their family and they just do it independently and they show up on the day and they know their earth, wind, fire, or water, so they get with that group and they walk when they walk and they stop. And that's how the parade works. And sometimes dads suck it up for their daughters. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they enjoy being frogs. Now you can see with this little slide, there's that paper mache bird over, and they've made a little float, and it's got mountains, and it's got birds on either side of it. It's amazing what people will come up with just on their own. There are usually 2 bands and sometimes 3 or 4 bands offering music. This particular one is called Samba Oliwa. It's a samba band. It's a percussion band with a large dance contingent. There's over 100 people in this band. So you can imagine they tell the bands, and I'm in one of the other bands, they tell the bands which section they're in, and then they have to come up with a costume to put on 100 people with different musical instruments. So it's no mean feat for the bands. Here's the dance contingent for Samba Oliwa. They were in wind this year. They were birds. This is one of the recurring paper mache floats that people carry, but if they know they're going to be carrying the paper mache float, they dress appropriately as they think. Here's this is my band. We were bees that year. We were in air. There's another shot of us and another one. And this was bees in trees. So this is part of Earth, and Earth usually ends up to be trees and animals and plants, mushrooms. And individuals come, and they're not in a group. They just come on their own. They make their own costume, and they come and they walk with Earth if they are Earth people. This one I particularly like. And then more paper mache, and these recur year after year. And there's a skunk. And a very colorful slug. And here's a fellow, and this is also Earth, his flower, and he's got his little baby, and his baby is a flower. More flowers. And then sometimes we have bugs, and sometimes the bugs are in fire, and sometimes they're in wind, because they fly, but they also glow. But this one, we have a number of large moving puppets like this. This is one of them. And it opens up. And there's a flamingo. And some butterflies. And a little bird head. Now, fire is kind of a challenge because nothing really lives in fire. So sometimes it's volcanoes, and a lot of times it's glowing things. We do have a luminary procession the night before. This is part of a quarterly celebration called Arts Walk in Olympia, and the procession is in the spring Arts Walk. But the night before, we have a luminary procession, and we have glowing animals. There's a glowing owl, and they also are in the procession the next day. And then you have your ubiquitous jellyfish made with umbrellas. You see those everywhere. And then there's water. And some people make platforms to roll, and some people wear their costumes, and some people haul them. There's a manta ray. And a crab. You never quite know what you're going to get. Here's a guy, and he's water, and he's got a boat on his head. And there's an octopus. And maybe a sculpin. Now, sometimes we don't really know what category we belong in. But we want to be in the parade, so we dress up and be in the parade. And sometimes we're not sure, is this water or is it... This turns out to be a snake. It's a snake, and it's about 2 blocks long with a whole bunch of people under it. And there's a whole group of fishes. You can see that there's not a lot of consistency. There's more enthusiasm than consistency. Here's more of the Samba Oliwa dance troupe. They were woodpeckers this year. And you can imagine, for 100 people building these costumes, it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. And they open the studio up to anyone who wants to show up about 6 weeks ahead, and you can just show up any weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, and they're open all day, and you just go in and do what you want to do with the materials that they've got there, or you bring your own. And here's more Samba Oliwa. And here's my band. This is just in April. We were Grass. And that's the end of my presentation.
Grass costumes.
I did. See, when you go to Party City and they're closing their doors and they have everything like, so you can get a great big thing of lime green ribbon for like $6. The problem is that then you have to cut it into little tiny pieces. So I was doing that for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But it all turned out okay in the end.
Great. Questions?
Hi, thank you. That was beautiful, really inspirational. Especially seeing the community coming together and doing that. That's amazing. You said that the space is open for 16 weeks.
6 weeks.
About
6 weeks.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
And did you get the space donated from an individual, the city, a company?
Yeah, like I said, it's moved. This was its 20th year because they didn't do it at COVID or the year after. So this was the 20th year. And in that time, there have been 4 or 5 locations. That's why the video at the beginning showed them moving, and they walk them down the street from one warehouse to the next. And they're sometimes they're vacant state buildings, sometimes they're private individuals, sometimes a real estate office has a warehouse that nobody, is using right now. This year, the old armory has been purchased for repurposing for the arts. So we were in the basement for this year, but we have to move again. So it's just what we can find.
Beautiful.
Do you get a grant for materials, or is it self-funded by everybody who's participating?
Yep, you show up and you bring your stuff and you have an idea, and if you, usually people have an idea and they have some materials that they have collected, and then they get to the studio, and the studio after 20 years has collected, bins of glue guns and stacks of glue sticks and all kinds of things to make those big puppets and to make little tiny costumes and make headdresses and all of that. So they have all the materials, all the pens and the scissors, and they also collect a bunch of stuff that people bring their materials in and they don't use the whole bag of it. And so they just leave it for somebody else to use. And so there's piles and piles of stuff in the studio for people to just, oh, that's the same color. I'll go grab that, and I put that on my costume. That's how it works usually.
I just wanted to know when the next one was.
It's third week in April. It's always the third week. It's the weekend of the April Arts Walk, which is 20...
And do you know the theme of it next year?
It's Earth, Wind, Fire, and Water every year.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
So the materials from year to year, where did you store them?
In the warehouse until we're kicked out, and then we move them to another warehouse.
Oh, so it's not just for 6 weeks that they lent it to you?
Well, they have it open to the public for six weeks. But then they're stored, with the doors locked for the rest of the year, unless they have water damage, which they did when they did that move on the video. They had water damage there, so they had to move it in between. But yeah, it just sits in wherever somebody is generous enough to let them use that space for the year.
Any more questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Here. So first of all, thank you for coming out on a beautiful, warm night and being willing to come indoors. And secondly, thanks for being willing to donate money, which pays our rent and pays our technician. And next August 15th, which is the third Friday, is the next tripod. And one of the 3 shows will be the history of Leroy Jewelers. And I think a lot of you are aware of them. They've been around forever. Next up, doing the WOW show, the New Zealand WOW show, a husband and wife team. They're both artists. Dan grew up in Seattle, received his BA in anthropology from the University of Washington and his MBA from Ohio University. He works full-time as a histriotechnologist and laboratory administrator in Seattle. So if you have to get your labs done, he's the one that can tell you if you're diabetic or not. He began making glass beads in 1989 after taking a flame working class at Pratt Fine Arts in Seattle, and followed this with metalsmithing at Pratt and Danaka Design. An interest in culture informs his design, especially how various elements help signal personal and group identity. He usually collaborates with his wife, Cynthia Toops. who, of course, is here tonight. He has been featured in numerous publications, including Ornament Magazine, Masters of Glass Beads by Lark Books. His work is represented in museum collections like the Tacoma Art Museum, Racine Art Museum, Kobe Lamp Work Museum, and the Mingei International Museum. Cynthia Toops, that is, grew up in Hong Kong and has moved to the States for college. She has a BA in biology and a BFA in printmaking. However, she had no idea what to do with those degrees. Luckily, she came across the craft material polymer clay in 1986, which led to the world of beads in jewelry. Almost 40 years later, she is still working with polymer clay. She's wearing a piece tonight that she made that you might take a look at close. It's pretty amazing. She is most well known for her detailed micro mosaic pieces. Her work is in numerous publications as well as private and museum collections around the world. Besides jewelry, she also enjoys drawing, felting, and hand stitching. She collaborates with other artists, but her main partner in crime is her husband, Dan Adams. So they'll do the wow show.
By the way, histotechnology and polymerase chain reaction up there. Thank you.
So Dan's going to help with the clicker because I'm technology challenged. So first, some images of our work. I'm going to jump right back to WOW for the next shot.
Okay.
So WOW stands for World of Wearable Art. And in 2016, there was a display in Seattle at the EMP, or can you hear? Am I close enough? Okay. At the EMP now, Mopop. So we were very lucky because our friend, Mark Colombino in the red shirt, worked there. He was a carpenter and installer. And he also made that window frame in our house, the shoji screen. So Mark has no interest in fashion, zero. And he said, you have to see this exhibit. So we thought, okay, you know, a man, fashion, must be special. So we went there. And these are some of the shots I took of the show. And what I was most impressed with was the diversity of material, the craftsmanship, and that the artists came from all over the world. And there was even a girl from Hong Kong. She was like, whoa. So anyways, and I went there 7 times. I loved it so much. And I actually paid for a year membership so I can go there.
And go there and go there and go there and go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Dan.
All right, I get to talk. All right, so World of Wearable Arts. Susan Moncrief, or Susie Moncrief, depending on which site you see, was a sculptor and a gallery owner in Nelson, New Zealand. That's on the southern island. And she wanted to do a show with wearable art. So she had a little fashion show with a runway and walking. She gave out $1,000 in prizes, woo, and she started this thing. It grew up, and it grew very quickly into be too big for her gallery venue, and bigger than Nelson itself, but there's still the Museum of Wearable Art in Nelson. And it's also, interestingly, somehow a museum of antique cars, so cars and wearable art. It moved to Wellington, and you have the nice WOW statue that's in the front there, and the venue where it's being shown. Now, it's one of the biggest cultural events in Wellington, and it's definitely on our bucket list. We have only seen the shows about it. We haven't been. It attracts between 50 and 60,000 people a year to Wellington, and it's more than just, here, look at these great costumes. It's actually an entire performance entertainment with original music, original choreography, and a huge amount of the actors, athletes, and musicians in Wellington participating in it. And I think the next one is our video. So this is just the version of
Experience a world where theatre and magic come to life in spectacular fashion. The world of wearable art. Book now before shows sell out.
Yeah, I really want to go. It'll be a lot of fun. Right, so the process is very involved. For all of you guys who are doing puppets, maybe this is your next thing. But they announced in February, this last February, the themes for the year. And to go through this, you have to create a profile, apply. They have to decide that you're worthy of it. You send them what you want to try to do, and you apply. You send in the material. You can see it goes along. It's about 18 months from the time that they announce it until the shows begin. And now they give away about $180,000 in prizes totally, so it's a lot more venue there. So we have a couple books here by the WOW people with a lot of details, and that's where we took most of these pictures from. Our personal pictures weren't that fun. This great piece is over 2,000 pieces of laser-cut felt assembled into this piece. This goes back, I kind of wondered how much that weighed once you guys were talking about that. Hand felting. Felting was a big thing. I love this. She made individual molds for each of the spikes. This one is great because he found an industrial material, plastic, covered with this reflective, and he cut all these little triangles and, again, put them on felt, ironically enough, and made this costume. This one is great because it's actually spandex. The entire thing is made of spandex that's been pleated. I can't imagine how you do that with the spandex. The two sisters who made this piece and won grand prize in the competition are part Maori and part European in heritage. And they wanted to represent the strength of both of their cultures and how they worked together to make greater than the sum of the parts. So the European figure has feathers, which I guess are very important for chiefs and important people in the Maori community. And the Maori figure is covered with reproductions of small European coins and the chain binding them together. So it's kind of a nice message for them.
And it's made of?
And, oh yes, it is all ceramic. So this again goes back to the, there's ceramicists in their regular art. This one I loved because it was made from the hardware store. It's all aluminum, and you can see the connections, little bolts and things for that. That was a great piece. She said she bled a lot making this. This one I think is amazing because it's all, of course, wire working. She's also notable as being the youngest winner. She won the grand prize. She was 18 when she finished this one. I don't think I was doing anything interesting at 18. I do like also that people with different backgrounds do work. And so there's a metal sculptor, Frank Strunk does this kind of work. And there's a woodworker, David Walker, he's from Alaska. I loved this piece, but the piece I really loved was this one we saw. His wife had breast cancer. And so he did this in representation of her fight with breast cancer. And you can see that the breasts have the universal symbol for radiation. The spike that on the heel looks like it pierces through the foot, representing the pain that she went through. And on the back, as the model would walk, the piece would flip back and forth with the scalpel and the syringe, representing what she went through to live as long as she did. On a more, this lady, yeah, This one was, this was in Seattle. This was a great piece. She's actually a saddle maker and has worked for the royal family in England. There's actually a society of master saddle makers in England. And if you have a few knitting needles lying around, something you can do. I think he said 2,000 knitting needles.
3,000.
3,000, maybe 3,000, that was right. Everybody has leftover jeans, so in case you have a few leftover jeans and you know how to sew, that would be a really cool thing. I loved that piece, or pieces, 3 pieces. There's always 6 themes for every year for the show, and one of the themes always has to be about the culture of New Zealand and the South Pacific, and so this one was based on that, obviously. This is all the black strapping tape that seals up boxes. One of the best pieces, this is all felted, or laser cut felt. There are no sewing or buttons or snaps here. It's all looped together. And there's a tragic story for this one. They did win the Supreme Award, but 48 hours before they shipped it to Wellington, they thought, we should dry clean this one. By the way, yeah, everybody here probably now knows not to dry clean felt. It all dissolved. They had 48 hours to go from 0 all the way and redo the entire thing, and they described their stress in many stories, and they didn't dry clean it the second time. A lot of artists participate several times. Sean Pruckler did these. I love the atomic cacti. Those cacti, those are all the orange earplugs you'd use at an industrial site. And apparently there was so much work doing that he needed wine the next year. There are a lot of pieces that involve a lot of different materials, and I won't remember everything that goes into this one, but there are file folders and rubber and brass grommets, and she used a scrum helmet underneath there. And there's, of course, fabric and wire. So they put these people all use alternative materials to create these great pieces. And again, going with alternative materials, this is all for irrigation tubing. And ecdysis is the shedding of skins for reptiles. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
This one was inspired by Weaver Finch. He saw one building a nest when she was a kid. So I forgot he or she, but anyways. He. Okay. Next. This one is almost entirely wool and thread sewn together. Next. So Sarah Thomas had won an award the previous year, and she wanted to do something inspired by a car. And she happened to go to the Wow Museum, but the car part, and saw this 50s Pontiac. And that was her inspiration. So she won quite a few awards and a lot of publicity for the piece. So Scout, when she was a little girl, went to the Cirque du Soleil and knew right away she wanted to be a costume designer. So she went to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, and then she also got further studies in London, and she had to do an internship. So she said she's going to do it at Cirque du Soleil. Well, Cirque du Soleil does not offer internship, but she managed to kind of wiggle, yeah. So she did this piece based on those wind-up tin toy monkeys, circa 1914. So, and she won awards, and she is now a costume designer on Broadway. Inspired by crustacean, and I think the fiber is like handmade fabric.
Oh, sorry.
This one, the artist wanted to do this very vain bridegroom that doesn't want to be upstaged by the bride. So secretly he made this costume, and it's like fishing in fiber and then pearls, and surprised the bride on wedding day. So the title is called lace a lot. So this one is like probably thousands little plates, metal plates attached together, and also some leather maybe underneath the piece. And it's inspired by the Macbeth witches. This person, Grace, had entered the show many times, won many times, but was last year's Supreme Award winner. And it was inspired by the volcano that erupted in New Zealand, but mostly by the resilience of the people rebuilding the city. So the top are traffic cones on the headdress. The bottom is those plastic fencing, that meshing. And then this is like reflective plastic material for signs. So this Japanese artist made this piece inspired by origami and kimonos. And I actually couldn't find out what material it's made with. Helen Millen had also entered many times and won many times. And she did this two-part piece, the octopus and then a garden and one. And it's inspired by the Beatles' song, Octopus Garden. So these are, I don't know how to pronounce it, but two young students from Donghua University in Shanghai. And a previous student had entered WOW and won an award. And the founder of WOW's, Susie Moncrief, and also the competition director, Heather, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember the last name. Palmer, Heather Palmer, went to the university to give a talk on the WOW to inspire people to join. So they decided to participate, and they made two costumes. This is one, is called The Light of Light and out of plastic. And the other piece is called Revive, out of tires. So they won a lot of awards for both pieces, not just this one piece, and over $82,000 in prize money. So that went towards tuition, travel, and buying materials for other WOW shows. So, and this is the last piece I'm talking about, and the remarkable thing is there's 6,670 safety pins in this piece, plus other material. So every year since 2017, we've had a WOW party at the house, except for the pandemic.
Yeah, that was not WOW.
No. So we invite our friends to participate, and they can talk about the pieces they've made or collected, and it's optional that they talk about it. Lots of times they wear it, but they're too shy to talk about it. So in the middle, I'm actually wearing the headdress made by Lynn.
Yeah.
So, and yeah. And people will lots of times make neck pieces. And Christopher with the red one, those are out of bicycle reflector shards of it that's strung together. Garden hose, woven garden hose for the one in the blue T-shirt upper right. And then Joan in the bottom right is foldable colanders. The collapsible colanders. So Kay with the long piece, there are actually sketches she did on her travels. Next to her in the middle, Midori has to have like shots every day. So it's out of the plastic that the syringe comes in, that she made that sash. Laura did drawings on her pants. It's like a garden scene. And Dan did the dyed or bleach T-shirt.
And you did a lot of pom-poms.
Oh, I did a lot of pom-poms, yeah. So some of the other pieces I've made. Yeah. And that one's out of old postcards that we didn't use, tape, polymer, just like this one, and then drawing on shoes. So, questions?
Yeah, the actor had to crawl around with that bug. That was last year.
So are all those professional models, do you suppose?
Apparently the ballet company and a lot of the modern dance and pretty much all the theaters closed, and all the actors, actresses, and actually several members of the New Zealand rugby team, some of those other groups participate. They just rope everybody in who's crazy enough to participate. It probably is a lot of practice. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube with different shows from different years. So,
Any other questions?
When is the WOW show every year? Is it at the same time of year?
it starts in mid-September and goes through October every year. The dates, of course, change a scooch every year. But they have the first announcement of who won, and that first day, it's literally mid-September. You can buy tickets right now. They have.
And you can still enter.
And you can still enter too.
For next year.
Yeah.
So they do the judging and the awards and all of that are before the event.
So there's 3 levels. So first you tell them you want to participate, and here's your idea. And they think, okay, your resume is okay, and we think your idea is not insane. And so now, then you send them pictures of what you actually did, and then they decide, okay, that's good. And you ship it there, and then there's another level of competition where they decide, okay, this is good enough to be on stage. And then they say about 350 to 400 people apply every year, and about 150 get into the show.
Yeah, a lot of people have entered multiple times. So.
Have you applied or will you apply?
Oh no, we don't even sew. I mean, I don't know how to use a sewing machine.
God, no.
We're
too busy.
I wanted to mention, can you hear me? I wanted to mention Cynthia just won an award this year, a solo award that's funded by Jenny Ruffner, and it's implemented by Artist Trust. So congratulations about that.
Thank you. This was really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about the necklace that you're wearing?
Oh, it's out of polymer clay. I use translucent. I use translucent Fimo, like 2 sheets and like foil, aluminum, silver. You know, that really thin foil sandwiched between. I roll it through past the machine and then hand cut the bits, the holes, and then do the shape, bake it, and then string it.
Yeah, there's 40 or 50 little holes, hand-cut little triangles in each one.
Yeah, scalpel.
Yeah, with a scalpel.
Don't try this at home, kids.
She has a class coming up if you're crazy.
So just to say, if you decide to go, the tickets are very expensive, and it is totally worth. I went in 2018. The thing that happens is it's in an enormous, like an arena where they have the show. And if I was going to tell anybody to do anything, I would say save your money and go 2 nights, because there is so much. It's not just one artist coming and showing their piece. I mean, you mentioned Cirque du Soleil. Someone mentioned Cirque du Soleil. I mean, it's like something going on every stage, and I mean, it's quite remarkable. But definitely go 2 nights so you can see the whole thing.
Did you go to the museum in Nelson too?
No.
Yeah. Hope to go there one day as well.
Yeah, if you look at you have to World of Warcraft also comes up as WoW, so type in World of Wearable Art, you'll get them. Yeah, you don't want Warcraft, I don't know that. We do have the two books here that we took some of the pictures from, and yeah, we,
Recognize this.
if you like, yeah, so.
Yeah. Oh, this one has a lot of detail on the process for some of the artists. And then this one is mainly
Pretty
picture
pictures,
book.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Thank you. So I want to thank the speakers. You know, they come from far and wide. Mary came from Olympia tonight. Dan and Cynthia came from Seattle in rush hour traffic. Anyway, nobody gets paid here, so it's wonderful that these volunteers give their talent and time. So thank you. Come again August 15th for the next Tripod Show.